Hello and welcome back to our study of Peninei Halacha, the teachings of Rabbi Eliezer Melamed Shlita. Well, here we are in Yom Shlishi, as we are counting up in the Omer towards Chag HaShavuos. Thank you so much for joining us. Please continue davening for Chaylei Tzva Ganei Yisrael, for Shlom Echol B'Toi Yisrael, and the safety of our brothers and sisters in Eretz Yisrael. Next chapter we have is Ha'olah U'Brachos HaTorah, and I neglected to mention yesterday as well, but it's been after such hiatus. We learn Ishtei Le'ili Nishmas Saren Daniel Shimon Arav Daron V'Sheli Hashem Yikum Damo. The Moshe Kol Adam Mivarech Baboker es Brachos HaTorah. So since everyone makes Brachos HaTorah, the blessings on the Torah in the morning, it's part of our morning routine of Brachos. So Kavu Chachamim Sha'olam L'Kras HaTorah Yivarchu Shul V'nei Akriya Lachar es Brachos HaTorah. Chazal instituted that anyone who gets called for an aliyah, gets called to the Torah, should make another blessing. This is to establish in the heart of every person that has an aliyah, and anyone who is listening, the source, of the godly source of the Torah in the world. At first, when the advent of Kriyas Torah, the first person who had the aliyah made a bracha, and only the last person. The first person called up would make the opening blessing before laning, and the rest of the people who were called up would not make a blessing, and the final person called up would make the after blessing at the conclusion of that reading. So after time, Chazal instituted that each person who is called up to the Torah makes a bracha both in the beginning and the end. And this is what the Gemara calls a gezerah. It's a safeguard because of those who are coming and going. What does that mean? Because let's say they thought that maybe somebody comes late to shul and they come in the middle of laning, and he wouldn't hear the first person make the opening bracha. He might think that there is no blessing made before laning. So therefore they instituted that every person who has an aliyah should make a bracha before his reading. And also they worried that somebody might leave in the middle of laning. And if he leaves in the middle of Kriyas Torah, and the person who has one of the middle aliyahs, when he finishes his reading and there's no blessing afterwards, he might think that there is no blessing recited after the laning. So therefore, the Chazal instituted that every single person who has an aliyah makes a bracha at the end as well. This is all based on the Gemara and Megillah on Daf Chaf Aleph. From here we can learn how important the blessings over the Torah are. The Chazal instituted that every person that has an aliyah makes a bracha beginning and at the end, because we, chas v'shalom, God forbid, heaven forfend, we don't want any single Jew to think that there's no blessing being made before or after the reading. That's how important this blessing is. What are you supposed to do while you're the ole and the person is laning for you? So you're supposed to say quietly, in an undertone, the words of your laning word for word with the Bal Kriya. Since you're the one that made the blessing, because what is your bracha on? You made a bracha on the Torah, but you have to actually say something. So if you don't say anything, there's a possibility we're worried about a bracha levatala. Just a note of sort of conduct or caution or just good manners, that some people don't know how to whisper or don't know how to do things balachash. You shouldn't say the words so loud that it will distract the Bal Kriya. You could say it quietly that only you yourself hear it and nobody else should. We finished this chapter though, b'shas hadchak, in a case of great need. Ma'alin laTorah gam adam she'eni yodei l'klal l'kro she'u iver. Let's say someone who doesn't know how to read the words, or let's say someone is blind. So you're allowed to call such a person up b'shas hadchak. And this is even though the Shulchan Aruch paskins that someone who can't read the words should not be called up for an aliyah. Harama pasak kadas amakil, and the Rama, again, we follow Ashkenaz custom generally, he takes a more lenient approach. And even in certain Sephardic communities, they also are leaned in this. So nowadays, we call anybody, if they know the words, they don't know the words, they can't read it without vowels, whatever it is, but you certainly should effort to follow along and try and read the words together with the Bal Kriya. And that's what you're supposed to do during an Aliyah, should you be so lucky as to get an Aliyah and cherish the opportunity, the blessings before and afterwards, and realize how important exactly this is. So thank you for joining us. Please continue davening for Chali Yitzchak and Israel, for Shalom Kol Tzvah Yisrael, safety for our brothers and sisters in Israel. Thanks again for coming back and learning with us. Have a great day. We'll see you here next time.